Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. Scuba diving, Islamorada in the Florida Keys. Dive site, Davey Crocker. The Davey Crocker dive site is located just a short boat ride from the Islamorada Dive Center. The Florida Keys are full of stories, and the story I was told about this dive site is that, I guess in the past, there was an excursion here where they would feed nurse sharks. That's how they explain the abundance of nurse sharks in this particular dive site. I guess at some point they decided that sort of thing wasn't a good idea, which I would agree with. But nonetheless, they were right. There were an abundance of nurse sharks in this particular dive site. Nurse sharks range in size from 5 to 9 feet, reaching a maximum of 14 feet, and they're usually found in water depths from 12 to 100 feet. The distinctive features of the nurse shark include 2 barbels on the upper lip, 2 dorsal fins of nearly equal size set far back on the body, and a small mouth. Here you can see one of the barbels clearly. I didn't take any photographs on this dive as I only had my GoPro with me, but as you can see there's quite a bit of particulate in the water. So I wasn't terribly disappointed that I didn't have my camera. I don't know if you noticed from the satellite view at the very beginning of the video when I zoomed in, but that really gives you a good idea of the layout of this dive site. The water's clear enough that you could see the formation from that view. It's a shallow reef rock dive site with these ledges, and the ledges are where the nurse sharks like to hang out and lay underneath. As you can tell, there's an abundance of schooling fish on this dive site, in addition to the nurse sharks. As I mentioned, the dive site is quite shallow, and this dive started at about 10 after 3 in the afternoon and lasted almost exactly 45 minutes. I recorded a maximum depth of only 27 feet, and I think at one point I was close to laying in the sand to get some video of the nurse shark. My average depth for this dive site was 20 feet. I recorded a maximum water temperature of 86 degrees Fahrenheit and a minimum water temperature of 84 degrees Fahrenheit. I was quite comfortable and happy to be diving in just trunks and a rash guard. Alright, we've actually got a lot going on in this little group of fish. I see a couple schoolmasters, some blue striped grunts, and some French grunts. There's a lot going on here and a lot of fish very close together, so I'm going to try something a little different. Here's the schoolmaster, the French grunt, and the blue striped grunt. I'd love some feedback on the arrow system. That was a first for me, so please drop a comment and let me know if you like the arrows or not. Here we have another mixed school of fish. I'll go ahead and give you a little background. The blue striped grunt range in size from 8 to 14 inches, reaching a maximum of about 18 inches, and they can usually be found in depths of water ranging from 12 to 50 feet. The French grunt, which is very similar in appearance, range in size from 6 to 10 inches, reaching a maximum of 1 foot, and they're usually found in depths of water from 12 to 60 feet. The schoolmaster range in size from 10 to 18 inches, reaching a maximum of about 2 feet, and they're usually found in depths of water ranging from 10 to 80 feet. I found several schools that included all three of these species throughout the dive site. I really enjoy diving with schooling fish. I'm not sure why, but it, for whatever reason, brings some certain amount of joy to the dive for me. There's a stoplight parrotfish. You can see the red belly, and that looks like it's in the intermediate phase. I really enjoyed this dive site, just a tremendous amount of activity here. I'm not sure what's causing all the particulate in the water. Like I said, I didn't have my camera anyway, but what a fantastic dive site this would be to take pictures on a day when you didn't have all this particulate in the water. I don't know if it's always like this. If you know or you have some more information, please share. I'd love to know. Again, it's a very shallow dive site, a maximum depth of 27 feet. And like I said, I believe I was nearly laying in the sand, just inches above the sand to get that depth. So I'm sure the water gets churned up pretty easily here if there's any sort of weather, and I believe there was a storm just the day before. So that may be the cause of all this particulate. The dive site being described as having an abundance of nurse sharks was certainly no exaggeration. The nurse sharks here certainly did seem less shy than at some other dive sites, and really seemed to be unimpressed or unconcerned with the presence of divers. Maybe they should rename this site Nurse Shark Reef. But I guess if they did, then we wouldn't find any nurse sharks here, right? That's kind of the joke, is that if a dive site is named something like Eagle Ray Rock, you're most certainly not going to see any eagle rays at that dive site. At least that kind of seems to be the pattern with most dive site names. Look at this one. Look at the belly on this one. Either it's pregnant or just had a large meal. I'm not certain. Here we have another school of mixed variety fish. Getting close to the end of the dive. Here we have a trumpet fish. The Atlantic trumpet fish range in size from 1.5 to 2.5 feet, reaching a maximum of 3 feet, and are usually found in depths of water from 15 to 80 feet. Here we have a southern stingray. They range in size from 3 to 4 feet, reaching a maximum of 5.5 feet, and are usually found in depths of water ranging from 1 to 80 feet. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.